everybody. Welcome back to the new and improved GEA. This is episode 85, I believe, Unky, of the Gaming Enforcement Agency. Welcome along, sir.
Mate, good to be here. I mean, it's going to be a different format today, but we'll see how we go.
That we will. Speaking of the different format, I'll just let everyone know we've really had trouble lately trying to sync up everyone's schedule to get a show to happen on the night. So what we'll do instead now is just record single games and whoever's available is available, and then we'll put them up as they come. So it'll be more sort of daily content. It won't be every day, but it'll be more frequently than once a week is what I'm trying to say. With that said, we will do games interrogation and deliberation this week. Unky, it is on Assassin's Creed Mirage. And first off, a big shout out to Ubisoft. Thank you very much for supplying my key to make this gameplay and discussion possible. Thanks, Ubisoft. Unky, you've been playing. Which platform are you playing on? I'm on the PS5.
I'm also on the PS5, and this is a weird one. This is one that when it was announced and all leading up to the week it was coming out, I think I said last week that I couldn't even believe an Assassin's Creed was coming out, just the fact that we hadn't heard much about it really, or I wasn't following much about it, but I wasn't interested in this game at all. I was like, nah, this can go on the back burner. There's plenty of other games coming out in October. I'm not going to play this. And, you know, the day comes out. I got to pay for it. I'm going to get this game. So I got it, and surprisingly, I'm really enjoying this game. I didn't expect to like it at all. I was like looking at it look like Assassin's Creed Light, but I think in the end, that's kind of why I am liking this. I think Assassin's Creed has become very bloated as of late. I mean, you've got your big ones, your Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, which just became these big open world RPG, 100+ hour games to play and finish, and a massive investment of time. But this one, being pared back and going sort of back to the basis of Assassin's Creed, where it's just you, your tools, no level gating, no enemy gating. It's just if you can, line up assassination, you can. You don't have to worry about the level, which I really enjoy. It's kind of reinvigorated my actual love for the Assassin's Creed franchise. I'm really enjoying the small scaled back version of this game, knowing it takes only 20 to 30 hours to complete and do all the side mission stuff. That's why I'm kind of enjoying this game more, knowing I don't have to put that investment of time in. And
yeah, man.
So far, so good.
Yeah, can I jump in on that and just say that I love it as well? Like, everyone knows I was a huge fan of the last one, Valhalla, bring the hammer down. I absolutely loved it. I've been loving all the Assassin's Creeds, for as long as I can remember. And I was very cautious about the shorter story, but very much to your point, mate, coming out this year with so many heavy hitters around it, it is nice to know we can just sort of jump in, get a fix of Assassin's Creed, and then move on to the rest of the backlog, mate. Back to you.
No, exactly right. And I mean, I think it's also going back to being a single character as well. I know sort of in the last they've given us the options to pick characters and create characters and all that. I think that takes a little bit away from the storytelling and stuff when you realize you could be a different character, or am I missing out on something by not being the female version of my character?
Yeah, a bit of FOMO.
I like that. Yeah, that's right. So whereas this, you are getting the same experience as everyone else that's playing the game. They've picked a character, Basim. I didn't play a lot or as much Valhalla as you did, so I didn't really see sort of where his story went within that. I don't really remember too much about that. So I think apparently if you really sort of played a lot of Valhalla and you know a lot about this Basim character, then apparently this can fall a little bit flat because it's like he wasn't everyone's favorite character. But for me, I'm really enjoying his character. I like his sort of start from street rat, essentially like Aladdin, where you sort of they do fast track you sort of into that assassin sort of part that other games might sort of take a little bit longer to warm up into, but being a shorter game, I can see why they sort of hurry that along and that. But I really enjoyed that. I liked sort of just jumping into it, sort of being that street rat and then becoming that assassin pretty quickly. So
I loved the quicker storytelling, mate. It just let me jump straight into the action. It was so a welcome change from my point of view.
Yes, and that's something sort of for you. I don't know, sort of going past other games like games that drag on too early at the start, make it really, really hard for you to get into. So the fact that this one sort of just was very snappy and stuff at the start to get you into that and get you into the sort of flow of Assassin's Creed, I think is probably what's sort of brought me on, and probably why you're thinking sort of more favorably towards this game as well.
I love the I miss Desmond. He was obviously the sort of outside the Animus character in the first three. I was a big fan of Desmond, so no him and no Animus is kind of weird, but to your point, it does speed up the storytelling. But I do like how they sort of call back to it with, I don't know if you've seen the Skill Man where you can throw the knife and then the body disappears.
Yes.
So it's very much saying like you're still within the Animus, you're still playing somebody's memories, but that's sort of the only nod I've seen to it. Have you seen anything else that sort of references the outer world?
Not really. Maybe only, yeah, as you said, like with the knives disappearing, but also his sort of assassin ability that's sort of like glitchy and futuristic when you sort of pull it off. Not sure if you've got that unlocked yet, where you sort of do the quick time
Yeah,
assassinations.
yep.
Yeah, so that's sort of, yeah, obviously that doesn't seem as a part of this world as it would if it was sort of grounded in the reality of being in Baghdad at that time. And I have to speak on Baghdad being a smaller city. I think it's just so dense, and I really enjoy sort of even just running away from the bad guys, and they chase you through sort of small narrow streets, and you're up onto the roofs. And I just like that tighter, compact version. I think it sort of lends itself really nicely to the parkour system they've got in here, which is sort of, it's not quite Valhalla, but it's sort of more Valhalla probably than the old school. But I really think the character is slightly heavier. He's got a slightly heavier feel in this, sort of to go back to the old style Assassin's Creed. So I even went and played Odyssey, and just to see if it was my mind playing tricks on me. But no, he does definitely feel heavier in this than he sort of has in the past RPG versions of this game. So
Definitely.
no,
And
really enjoying it.
yeah, yeah. And a big shout out to the way they nailed that whole world feeling. It feels like you're in one world. They've nailed that. And contrast that to Redfall that came out earlier this year, where they just had bits and pieces from everywhere. It was in no way a cohesive vision. It didn't feel like you're in Boston, I think it was set. It
Mm.
didn't resonate that way at all. But this game has nailed it. Like I feel like I'm in Baghdad. It's perfect.
No, that's right, and I think it's again it's this whole paired back thing. Even with the whole weapons system, like not being full RPG and not pick up a different weapon off, killing enemies here and there. There's only a sort of select amount of different weapons. They all have certain perks. They can be upgraded, I think, 2 to 3 times each weapon and each outfit you unlock as well. They do have a semi-transmog system where you can also unlock outfits that are just sort of for cosmetic purposes only. So you can keep whatever stats you like from the outfit you've got, but sort of apply a different outfit. I mean, the UB Play ones you can unlock for free, and some of their coins are good. Goes back to the old school outfits, so you can unlock his outfit from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You can unlock Ezio's outfit, which I think is quite cool. They usually do that most of the
Yeah.
Assassin's
That
Creeds.
one
But
looks great.
uh,
Let me ask you this, mate. Have you found any outfit that makes you look like Nathan Drake?
Unfortunately not, but I mean, I say that, but he does. He definitely looks like Alan Wake, I think. But no, I did. I did pay for one outfit, which was I think it was 14.95 because it looked awesome. It was the Prince of Persia outfit you can give him.
Oh, how good is that?
So, and that gives you that gives you the sword, it gives you the knife, it gives you a little trinket on your back, and it gives you this awesome horse as well. So I've pretty much been rocking that Prince of Persia outfit this whole time, because this whole game sort of just feels like Prince of Persia. It's like playing a next gen Prince of Persia that we haven't got or might not get yet. So no, really,
If
really
only it
enjoy
had
it.
the time rewind function, so every time I miss my platforming, I could just whoop back.
That'd be nice. I mean, it does unlock the ability to slow down time if you do parry with the Prince of Persia knife. So there is that, but no, nothing to help your platforming,
Nothing will
unfortunately.
help my platforming, mate.
No.
And what I love is the way they have brought back, as you said, like the combat's been sort of reduced, restructured, that skill tree's less, which is great. The only complaint I've got is that attack, like heavy and light, are both on R1, and that kills my old man hands. I need to go into the config and see if I can switch it over to R2 maybe, just to give myself a little relief. How are you finding it?
No, that's fair, but I'm finding it okay. Initially, I was a bit jarring just to think that's how we do combat. I think the focus is not on the combat this time. I think they kind of make it almost less fun to get involved in combat because the focus is now more on the stealth, which is what I absolutely love about this game. I think going back to its basics and going back to being a stealth game predominantly is what is sort of making this game sort of ring true for me and making me enjoy it as much as I am, because I feel like I don't want to be involved in combat. And if I get involved in combat, instead of sort of taking the enemies on, I am kind of running away and resetting so I can get that stealth mode back in, because the tools they now give you to sort of do that stealth does go back to that old Assassin's Creed. Like, you got your knives, you got your smoke bombs, you got your traps. So they're really wanting you to play this as a stealth game. So I don't see it really being an issue with the combat. I'll get in the combat every now and again when they do force your hand every now and again, but I'll find myself just parrying and then getting the insta kill after a parry, or I will roll over the top of an enemy, throw a knife at their knee, and get them on the ground and do insta kills there. And
Definitely.
and
The
and even with the big, I was going to say, even with the bigger enemies, like it's not even like they're level gated at all. Like, if you can get on the back of a elite enemy, you can just straight up assassinate them, which I enjoy as well.
Yeah, it's perfect, mate. To all your points just there, like, this game is starting to now remind me of the Hitman franchise. Like, I love my Hitman. And it's that, lean into the avoid combat, just take down the targets. Like, they've done it really well. And if they're starting to bring back like Hitman 3 vibes, especially for me, like, I'm really enjoying that side of it as well. Do you think?
No, absolutely.
Do you think the
Yeah,
combat?
keep it.
It feels to me now, when in combat, as you were saying about the parrying, like it's starting to feel in combat a little bit soul spawny. Have you noticed any of that?
Yeah, it is a bit more like that because you do have your dodge, which has got me in trouble a few times because I keep trying to hit circle because I've been playing a lot of Lies of P to dodge, and I keep hitting the wrong button because it's square to dodge in this. But yeah, it sort of seems like you're sort of waiting one enemy at a time, and then you'll get that parry, and if you want to get that insta kill, or you'll dodge. So it does sort of have a bit of soulsness about it there, which yeah, obviously Souls likes are coming into pretty much every game these days. But no, it's and what you said about the Hitman thing, like you notice in the big missions that you get where you got to assassinate one target, they now give you just sort of optional side missions within that big mission to sort of give yourself that cinematic takedown of the enemy. You don't have to do them, but you can stalk the sky with your bird and look for opportunities. And there's this secondary currency now where you can use to sort of hire people to sort of attack guys if you want. I used that at one stage to infiltrate underneath the area I was supposed to get to. Like they took on the enemies while they did that. I snuck in behind the door where they came from and snuck inside and ended up finding a few clues, which then led to other clues, which then eventually brought the main bad guy, and I could get up above him and for an awesome cinematic takedown. So they're sort of going back to that old school Assassin's Creed where you set up stuff, but it's nice to be able to just have the stealth back in Assassin's Creed again.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think it's fantastic. The other thing that's fantastic, I got to shout it out: the lead assassin woman, her voice performance. I don't know her name, but I know the voice from I don't know, season 5 or 6 of 24. I know the actress was in that as well, but that voice is phenomenal. How are you finding the performances?
No, really good. Like I was very, thrown back a little bit when I first heard her voice. She's very gruff and got this really sort of deep, husky voice about her. I think it lends sort of really nice gravitas to her character.
Yeah.
And I think, and all the characters I've been actually pretty pleased with right now. There's sometimes that uncanny valley stuff with their eyes going on, and I still think the facial animation is not quite as good as it was back even when they did Unity and Syndicate. Like I went back and played some of those recently, which I've still got on my console just to see what that was like. And I think the tech was slightly different back then with the way their facial animations work. But I think the performances are really well done in this. And I'm invested in the characters that I've got. As I said, I don't know if everyone likes Bassam, but from what I've played in this story, I'm really enjoying his character and going to see where this goes forward. I might miss out on a bit of the story context come towards the end because I haven't played Valhalla and don't sort of know where his character goes. But for the ride, I'm down for the ride, and I'll definitely be finishing this game. I'm hopefully can get it out before Spider-Man comes out. Is it next week now, Spider-Man?
Oh, wow, you're right. I'm going to have to hop on the good foot and finish this game. But yeah, man, I second all your points. Really enjoying my time with it. It's calling back to its old self, and then a few other games they're tucking in. I'm loving everything about this, and I'm looking forward to finishing it off. And as you say, man, hopefully we can get it done before Spider-Man. Any final points, mate, before we close out the new format of GEA?
No, my only final comment would be that if you had sort of fallen a bit stale on the Assassin's Creed, you got a bit over the bloatedness of as good as they are, the RPG version of these games. I know we're getting Assassin's Creed Red, which is going to be the big one set in Japan, probably going to go back to that old style Assassin's. But if you've sort of fallen off that and you sort of want to go back and harken to the old style of Assassin's Creed, this is probably the best way to do it. And I think this is a really good jumping on point. If you are an Assassin's Creed fan, you haven't even played the games before, this is like a good blending of the two, like taking what was good from the old and, sort of some of the mechanics of the new ones and the way the movement works, I think has been upgraded. But definitely a good jumping on point, especially. I'll probably give this game maybe an 8 out of 10 at the
moment. Ooh, I'm not far enough in it to give it a score yet. I'd be sitting around, an 8.5 for me at the minute. But as I said, I'm not finished it, so reserving all score giving thus far. But yeah, I can see an 8, 8.5, right around there, mate. Thank you very much for making yourself available for this new format, GEA, mate. What else can we be playing in future, do you think? What might be our next episode?
I'm thinking probably Spider-Man's probably going to be up there for next week, but I'm trying to think. There's a lot of games. Wake's coming out as well in a couple of weeks, so that'll definitely be on there. That's, as I spoke about it last week, that's my most anticipated game for the rest of the year. So very much looking forward to those two, especially.
Yeah, that'll be great when it comes back. I'm also looking forward to Bully returning from the United States, so he can be joining us in that their third slot. Hey, Bully, how you doing? Hope the holiday's going well, mate. Unky, thank you very much for joining us today for episode 85 of the Gaming Enforcement Agency, mate. Great work.
My pleasure, mate.
Let me ask you this as a final point, though, Unky. What else could you do with Geek Aloud?
Like it, subscribe it, and you'll never miss it.